Hey everyone, I'm still here in the Dominican Republic having the time of my life. I just want to take a second to tell you about today's interview. Today's interview is with Tu Fang. Tu Fang really focuses in on doing creative deals. So most people think about doing deals and buying investment properties, buying it the traditional way through a bank and on the MLS. But Tu's found a way that, a few different ways to do deals that is not very traditional at all. So if this is something you've never heard of before, or something you just have more interest in, stick around for today's interview. And as always, of course, don't forget to like and subscribe. And yeah, I'm going to go to the bar now and get a cocktail. So enjoy today's interview. Hello and welcome to Wrestling with Real Estate, where we look to choke slam all your real estate problems. I'm your host, former WWE wrestler and now Cirque du Soleil performer, and of course, multifamily real estate investor, Barry Griffiths. Now today we have Tao Fang with us. Hey, how are you doing today, Tao? Oh, Tu, sorry, I pronounced it wrong. Sorry.
It's okay, man.
Pronounce it right, and then I put too much pressure on myself.
No, I get that all the time, so no worries. Don't worry about that. Yeah, but my name's Tu Fang. So thanks for having me on your show, man.
You're welcome. Well, interesting. When I pronounce my name, I get over the phone. I get Barry, Billy, Bobby, Benny. Yeah. They always pronounce my name wrong. So I'm really sorry about that.
Yeah. No worries. Well, we either edit it out or
Yeah, I'll leave it in there to make me look stupid, right? Yeah.
That's all good. Yeah.
So do you want to tell us a little bit about your background and kind of what you're currently focusing on right now?
As you said, well, thanks for having me on the show. It's kind of said that already, but just want to say it again. I've been investing in real estate for about 4 years. I've been wanting to start for a very, very long time, since I graduated from college back in San Diego, but I was still single, so I never really got to it. And then 4 years ago I got married, and that at that time I'm kind of like, you got to start right now, or you're never gonna get started. And luckily my wife is really understanding, and she support that, and she loved real estate as well. So then at that time we decided, hey, we got to move somewhere to kind of get started, because I don't know if you guys know the San Diego market, but it's pretty pricey down there. And so we moved here to Twin City, Minnesota, St. Paul, Minnesota. And I've been investing in real estate ever since.
Well, so you guys moved from San Diego to Minneapolis, St. Paul with a goal of investing in real estate. It wasn't caused by any job loss or looking for another job. You just decided that was a better area for you guys to live and to create the life that you wanted.
Yeah. I'm in the IT industry, and so okay. I told my supervisor on Monday that Wednesday I'm leaving. Because my brother-in-law and my sister-in-law was living with us down there too, and his job, they accepted him up here, but they're like, you gotta be here this week or we're not gonna hold your position. So he's like, hey man, your sister and I, we're gonna move, so if you want to go, help me drive up. And so that was on a Sunday. Wow. So Monday I told my boss, hey, I'm moving to Minnesota on Wednesday. So I picked up and left.
Did his jaw hit the floor when you said that?
Most people hate their W-2, but I love my W-2 job. My supervisor is really good, and so she's understanding. And but I did tell her, since I'm in IT, I could work remotely. So I told her, don't worry, I'll make sure everything, I'll help train the next guy. I could still work with you guys until you find someone new. And so just talking to my supervisor, and she's understanding, so she's cool with it.
Cool.
Yeah.
So you said that when you got married, that's when you decided that you better start investing in real estate. How did that conversation go with your wife? Was she already interested in real estate, or was it something that you had to persuade her?
She's already interested, or she's very business minded, because she studied business in college. Well, just because you study business doesn't mean you're business minded, but she's very entrepreneur minded because she does like clothing and fashion stuff. So she's kind of doing her own thing before I even married her, or before we even got married. And so she knew that, you know, we have to invest in something, right? And so when I discussed with her about real estate, she's like, "Yeah, that's a good idea. Let's go for it." You know?
Very cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because that can be a challenge for a lot of people. Luckily, I have a very supportive wife as well, who's similar to yours wife. She's very supportive. But I know for a lot of people, it can be challenging to get their wives on board sometimes, or their husbands, if you know, if the wife's
Yeah.
investing. But
Yeah.
it's important to have a supportive spouse, I think. So you,
Well, actually, I gave her Rich Dad Poor Dad too, so that
okay,
helped in the decision making.
yeah, I
Yeah.
my wife read that too as well, and it definitely it just changes your mindset, you know, and it opens
Yeah.
your brain to other things. So
Yeah.
you started investing. So you got married, you decided to start investing. What was your first investment that you made?
So when I moved to, so I work in IT, but I saved nothing. I wasn't able to save any money. I was still young. I was growing out. I was like, I was the millionaire that the perceived millionaire that goes to all the bars and lounges and comes to Vegas and hang out where you guys are, but only make like 50K, you know. So I'll go to all the nice places and stuff like that, but you know, I wasn't able to save anything. And so when I moved to Minnesota here, I didn't really have any money. And so my wife and I stayed at my oldest brother's house, uh, and we were able to save like 6 grand.
Mhm.
So my first property, I found a fourplex, and I still I couldn't qualify for a loan because when I moved up here, they dropped my employment to 70%, so I wasn't working full time.
Mhm.
Um, and so I couldn't get a loan. But on top of that, I don't have down payment money. So I put 5 grand down as a lease option on a fourplex.
Okay.
And you know, we're finally able to save like 6 grand. So I put 5 grand down, and I use $1,000 to kind of update the unit that I live in, because I'll live in one unit and then I rent the other three, and that covers the lease option monthly payment. So that's the
Very
first
cool.
deal.
So how did you find that deal? Was it on the MLS, or did you get in contact with the owner?
Yeah, it was on the MLS for a while, and then it was they took it out, so it wasn't sold because it needed to be updated, and and yeah, it wasn't sold, and so I think the agent was like doing this was busy with some personal stuff, so she wasn't really focusing on that property. So later, I just got a hold of the owner, and then I just talked to them. Like I noticed that the owners are like older investors, right? So they're kind of in different part of their investment career. You know, they want to travel. They don't want to deal with like, you know, the properties as much anymore, right? Because they made all their money already.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so I told them, you know what, I'll take care of your property. It's a fourplex. You don't have to deal with anybody. You don't deal with the tenants. I'll take care of all that stuff, you know, and we'll just do a lease option. So I talked to the owner, and they're cool with that.
Cool. Congrats. For
Yeah.
those people who don't know, maybe explain to them what a lease option actually is. So maybe people may have heard of it, but they don't exactly understand what it is.
Yeah. So lease option is just a fancy term, but I think the full term is lease with the option to purchase. So the first is basically two contracts, right? So the first part is the lease contract, and then the second part is the option. So the first part, the lease, it's also known as rent to own, right? So you rent to own. So the lease or the rental part of the contract is just a regular rental, like any leasing contract. You lease it for X amount. So in this case, it was like 2,500 a month for the entire 4 unit. You know, you have your lease contract, and so, most leases are like like a year, right? That's standard regular rental lease, but we do a 3-year lease. So that's the first part. Then the second part of the contract is the option contract. So the option part, you have the option to purchase. So within those 3 years, you set a predetermined purchase price already. So in this case, it was 280K for a fourplex. Um, and you know, so you set that price. So even if in 3 years, if the price goes up, I'm still buying at 280K, right? Even price goes down, I still buy at 280. So within that 3 year, I have the option to purchase. So that means that I don't have to purchase if I don't want to, but I have the options to purchase. So that's what it is. 2 contracts, lease, and then an option.
Very cool. That was a good explanation because it can get kind of get tricky to explain that stuff. I've tried to explain it to people before, but yeah, that was a perfect explanation. And then as well, at the end of that term, when it's time to purchase, if you choose not to, you would have lost that initial down payment, right?
Yeah, so I put there's a lot of different ways to do it, but how I did it was I just did a strictly $5,000 lease option, I mean, a lease fee.
Mm-hmm.
So that has nothing to do with the price. Some people take that off of the price, but I didn't. I told them 280 with $5,000 option fee, and so after 3 years, if I don't purchase, I lose that. But at that time, what I was thinking was that regardless, you have to pay rent. I needed a place to stay. So if I were to go rent a place, it costs about like $1,000 a month. And so if I pay $5,000 and all the others units already pay for everything else, right? Actually, I made like $200 a month off of that. Right. But that doesn't even matter. The main thing is that if I were to go rent, I would be paying $1,000. So within 5 months, I get my money back already. So I didn't care if I wasn't able to purchase, but the intention is to purchase.
Yeah. And what is the current? Did you end up refinancing with that, or buying it, or selling it? What did you end up doing with that one?
Later on, I actually ended up doing a 203 FHA 203K loan on it. So okay. I updated everything because it needed to be updated.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I updated all the units and I bumped all the rents. It was like $800 per unit at that time. I bumped all the rents to about 12, 12, 13, 12. So to basically like a $400 rent bump.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so now the property is all updated. It's worth about like $450 now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Great deal, and it's cash flowing nicely as well, I'm sure.
Yeah. I get about, after I pay everything, I get about $1,500
nice.
Cash flow.
Nice.
For properties, yeah.
Nice. And then you said you did a FHA 203K loan, right? For those people that don't know, an FHA obviously is the Federal Housing Administration. Like you can get a really low down payment loan, and I think a lot of people are familiar with that. But you can actually get something where they fund the rehab costs.
Yeah.
Right? What percentage of the rehab costs do they fund? 100%? No.
Yeah, I did 100%. So there's 2 loans there's 2 programs.
Mm-hmm.
So it's you still pay 3.5% down on the whole thing, but the 2 programs, like it's the Streamline and or the limited and the Streamline. But there's 2 programs. So one is just like basic rehab, and that goes up to $35,000,
mm-hmm.
and then the other is like major rehabs, and so that they have a higher limit on that. But so I did the Streamline one where I borrow about like $34,000 to do the rehab. So that's the entire rehab budget, $34,000 for all 4 units. And so they bundled that together with the purchase price. And so you just pay 3.5% down on the entire thing. And so I ended up spending like $21,000 or something like that on it.
Yeah. Wow, nice. And then, but so there's so people listening now, they're like, wow, this is amazing. So you put 3.5% down, and they fund all the renovation costs, right? And it is great. But what are some challenges with working with that loan?
So the first thing is that with the current state of the market, right now the market is really hot. It's a major seller's market, right? So if you were to do a FHA 2 or 3K loan on a property, it's very difficult to get that accepted. The reason is because the paperwork process is just so long. Mm-hmm. And so it worked for me because I did the lease option. So I have all the time to work. Well, I have 3 years to do the paperwork. So it wasn't a big deal for me.
Yeah.
But if you were to do it without a lease option, it might be very difficult. And so even with me, it took like 2 months just to get the paperwork done, right? Because there's a lot of different requirements. You gotta get the contract to come out of bid, on the job. You gotta make sure the contractor sent all the paperwork in, and all that stuff. And you do get like a consultant from the lender that helps you with that. But just the process takes like a long time. So you really need to pay attention on your timeline and work closely with your contractor and your lenders to make sure everything is on time and on schedule. So that's the difficulty of it.
Yeah. Yeah, because right now, with, like you said, with sellers having multiple offers, I'm sure on good properties, if you have someone that's coming in with a 2 or 3K loan that's going to take 2 or 3 months to close, why would you go with that opposed to someone who's going to put 10-20% down with the traditional financing that's going to be closed in 30 days? It's
But hey, in a year or two, the market might go down. So
right.
2K is going to be very popular again.
Yeah, it'd be good. Could be a good one. Yeah. Something else. I don't have personal experience, but I've spoken to plenty of people that do. Is that there's stipulations with a contractor as well, right? You can't just go find a contractor from Craigslist to do the work.
Oh no, you need a contractor that's 2 or 3K approved. Mm-hmm. And if they're a good contractor, it's easy. Like the approval process is simple. They just need to make sure that the main thing is that they want to make sure that they do good work and they have their insurance. I think the contractors call them bonds or something like that. But essentially, their liability insurance. That they have to have proper insurance. That's all.
How did you find yours? You just found a general contractor and.
Yeah, I just search. Yeah, on Facebook, I just ask people, hey, any 2 or 3K approved a contractor, and so then I got a few that came out and did the bids.
Cool. And how did that process go? Do they give drawdowns? Is that how it works? They give them drawdowns for work they do, or do they just fund it up all at the end?
No, the first draw, they split it. My lender split into 2 draws. So the first draw is like 50% of the amount. So that goes to the contract. I mean, it all goes to the contractor. But I mean, that pretty much buy all the supplies and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And then once everything's done, then the contractor asks for a full final inspection, and then they get the second draw, which is the final draw. So like the first draw pretty much pays the material. All their profit is really in the second draw.
Mm-hmm. The benefits of doing that, I think, I would see for someone, especially someone with inexperience. Not that you were that inexperienced, or but someone who doesn't have that much experience with real estate, is that the bank is watching over you, right? They're helping you. They're sort of a partner in the deal in that aspect. And the contractor knows he's not going to get paid unless he does the work up to the right standard. Yep. So that kind of gives you a lot of protection in that way. So it's something for someone to think about, that they might, if they have a property that they can. Either refinance into something like that, or that they know that the seller is in no rush to sell, that they could do a 2 or 3K loan.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, if you search and you find the right deal, it works. It works. So,
yeah, cool. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. I think that's very beneficial for a lot of people to kind of hear that they might not be aware of that loan. So then you did that first deal. Sounds like a fantastic deal, a home run deal, right? Which is what most people would love on their first deal.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it was a really good deal, but I mean, it took a long time, right? So like from the very first like lease option part of it, till the end, it was like 2 years, So, it's a long drawn out deal. I did deals in between that, but just that, that's the first deal. And I kind of knew the process going through, and I mean, I knew by asking a bunch of people questions and educating myself and stuff like that. So, I'm glad that one worked out.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
So what does your portfolio currently look like?
Right now we have about 12 units.
Okay. Yeah. So 12 single family homes, or?
No, it's a fourplex, duplex, single. That's 6. It's single, duplex. Yeah. Something like that, yeah.
Okay.
Just a mixture of singles and duplex and fourplex.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then are these all long-term tenants, or do you have any Airbnb properties?
Oh, no, they're all long-term, 30-year fixed mortgages on them.
Okay. With long-term tenants as well?
Yep, with long-term tenant, yeah.
Great.
I was going to go into right before or the beginning of this year. I have a lot of friends that do Airbnb. And I was going to turn a few of mine to Airbnb, but we did it. So it's good because, with all the restrictions now, Airbnb buddies are hurting.
I'm sure you were, that was a relief when you saw all this happening, right? Because I know I was close as well. So I don't know if you know this as well. There's a thing called a vacation rental loan that you get for 10% down. So
Yeah.
if you were to buy somewhere where you want to go on vacation, you buy a property there, you can buy it with 10% down, which
Yeah.
is great. You know, if you're not scared of leverage and you know how to analyze deal and looks at deals, you know, for me, you know, I'd done some research in Airbnb. My wife has a real interest in Airbnb and she's in Florida. So we're there quite often. So we were going to buy something that we could go stay in. But at the same time, they allow you, as part of the loan, they allow you to rent it out a certain amount of the year, as long as you go there. They don't have a distinction on how many days you have to go there. As long as you visit the property 2 or 3 times a year, you're able to. So right before, it was probably March, I made some offers. And luckily they fell through. You know, we saw some properties in Tampa that we liked, and they were, I don't know, about 250,000. So I was getting ready to buy one because we were doing all the analysis of the Airbnb, AirDNA. I don't know if you know about that, but luckily we got it. And then so me and my wife were just so thankful that we avoided that bullet, you know, because it would have been a disaster. We would have just been eating that mortgage.
Yeah. Hey, Tampa. Yeah, we thought about it because we went to Tampa in December to visit our Airbnb friends.
Okay.
And yeah, so we went there for like a week, and that's when we're like, oh shoot, we gotta get a vacation home down here, with that same loan that you're talking about. So
you had the same idea as me. That's funny.
Because the flight from Twin City here to Tampa is like super cheap. It's like $60.
Okay. Oh,
So
really?
like, yeah,
Oh,
it's direct.
wow. How long a flight is that?
It's like 2 hours.
Okay. Oh, that's not bad. That's really
Yeah, so
crazy.
so
cheap.
that's why we're like that. When it's cold here, you know,
Yeah.
we can go down there.
The winters are the best in Tampa. I love the winters.
Yeah.
Summers are too hot.
Well, if you and I end up buying it later, you know, next year, then we'll hang out down there.
Yeah. You can rent out. I'll rent you out my Airbnb.
Yeah, for sure.
So talk me through maybe your favorite deal that you've done apart from the first one. You know, you've got quite a few doors now. Maybe talk me through one of your favorite deals.
One of my favorite deal, it's a BRRRR deal. So
Okay.
BRRRR, BRRRR. I mean, you know the acronym.
Yeah. But
So,
buy, rehab, rent, refinance, repeat.
yeah,
Right?
sure, yeah. But I did a bunch of other strategies with it too. So what I did was just single family, and what I did was I met this. She also wanted to be an investor. She's new, so I met her at a networking event, and it's her mom's property, but she wanted to sell it because the son was like, you know, doing stupid things and stuff like that. But anyways, all the kids are gone too, so you know the place is too big for her, you know. So she wanted to sell it, but you know, things need to be fixed and stuff like that. So she couldn't sell at market price. And so I told her, yeah, if you want, you know, I gave her an offer pretty much at 50% off, you know. But she's like, that's too low. We're not gonna make any money. Da, da. So later on, I told her, I gave her a few options. So I said, if you want the price that you want, which she want like 120 or something like that, right? And the property is worth maybe like 180, right? So and I offer her 90. So she didn't want 90. So I'm like, okay, if you want like more, then you know, since you want to invest too, we could just partner up on the deal. And so she ended up doing that. And so what I did was we partnered up on the deal. She provided the property, and I provide the rehab money, right? And at this time, I just flipped the deal, so I had some money on there. And so I went to fix the property. So we JV on it. But on top of that, I just finished the flip. So I have some investors that were working with me. So it needed about $20,000 of rehab. And I told my investors, hey, I have this project. Do you want to take part of it? And they put up the rehab money.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I didn't put in any money at all. And so after I finished the property, I told her we're gonna refinance the property, and whatever the refinance is, I'll give it to her. You know, so the math works out to be around like 115 or 120 that I was able to give her. And so yeah, it was like 120 or 115. And so after I fixed the property up, you know, I rent it out. And then I refinance it, and then I give her the amount. So she got what she wanted, and then I paid my investors back, and I got the property for free. But I didn't just rent it. I rent to own it.
Okay.
So I turned it to a lease option, which the guy paid me a $5,000 lease option fee too. So I made $5,000 on the deal, and then now I don't have to manage the property. You know, it's a single family. So since he wanted to purchase it, you know, I did a 3-year contract for him. So he's managing the property, taking care of everything. Um, and so I make about like close to $500 a month without having to manage that property. Yeah.
And no money in the deal whatsoever.
Well, I gained $5,000.
Okay, yeah, you got $5,000 to own it. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's beautiful. That's a beautiful deal. Like,
Yeah.
you could
So I like that deal because I had to put so many different strategies together, you know, to make that deal work, and it worked.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, you know, you thought outside the box, right? It's again having that creative thinking of what can I do to make this seller happy? What is she looking for? And then what other strengths do I have? Okay, I've done some other flips. I have investors that's involved in that. They'd like to be involved in the deal. So it's bringing all that together and finding that great deal that works out beautifully for you.
Yeah, for sure. Because it's really listening to that initial seller, right, and understanding what they want. Because other people were, I know other people were giving her offers too, you know, but they weren't willing to. I had to spend like almost 2 hours talking to her mom, because her mom, like, it's a place they grew up in, right? And so there's that emotional attachment to it. I don't think other investors wanted to talk to the mom. So after I talked to the mom, I calmed her down and I explained everything to the mom, and you know, she got the mom's blessing, and then that's when we were able to work on the project. So,
Right.
yeah.
Nice. And it's doing what other people won't, right? As you pointed out, other people didn't want to talk to them. You've got to do that sometimes to make things work. So
yeah. And it's about helping them out, right? It's like, well, what do they need? And, you know, just hearing them out and then try your best to help them out.
Yeah, exactly. So what's next for you? What's, you know, you've done all these creative deals, and you've had a lot of success, obviously. What's next for you?
Well, the next thing is, of course, like, try to be where you at. The goal is to slowly move to multifamily, a larger deal, you know. So we have a couple of fourplexes, and, you know, maybe we have some equity built up in all of our different properties. All my properties have pretty much like a 20 to 30% equity in all the properties, because they're all BRRRR deals.
Mm-hmm.
Or like the 203K, it's kind of like a BRRRR deal because we updated it. So there's that forced appreciation that we put in all the deals. So for the future, I'm just looking for, you know, larger multifamily where, you know, maybe I could sell 1 or 2 of these and then, you know, 1031 those into, you know, larger projects. So that's the future.
Yeah. Some people might say, you know, you're having all this success with these smaller units. Why do you want to go to something bigger? I know why you would want, but some people might, you know, ask you that.
Well, it's all the same strategy, right? Like, even if I go to bigger deals, it's still the same thing. It's the same process. You buy it, you rehab it, you know, you force appreciation, you add value to the property and the project, and then you refinance out or sell it. So it's still the same process to me. It's just that if you go larger deals, then you could scale it. And also I have like, I want to work with people. It's more fun that way to me anyways. Some people, they kind of want to do it themselves, but to me, I want to work with people. So, you know, I have investors that are interested, and so, you know, just kind of helping them out too. And so, you know, building a team, helping each other out, and then you could scale the business that way, you know. So it's just my preference, I guess.
Yeah. And really, you know, for people who don't really understand, there's not much difference between doing a 4 unit and a 20 unit, really, you know.
Yeah.
You know, they're not okay, there's 16 more units, but, you know, it's the same thing. You renovate the units, you get a good tenant in there. And if you have a good contractor and you have a good relationship with your property manager, or you're managing it yourself, it really doesn't change that much. It's just a few noughts at the end, a few digits at the end of the price tag, right? That's the only difference, you know. And
just a few more zeros.
Yeah, exactly. And a zero, you know, I always say a zero never killed anyone, right? So It's just getting rid of that fear and yeah. And like you said, once you scale up, you can do bigger deals and bigger deals, and as all of us, you just want to grow, right? And
Yeah,
create a better wealth for yourself. So
yeah, yeah. For yourself and the people around you too. If
exactly.
you kept doing small deals, the efficiency of it, it's very difficult to make it more efficient. So
Yeah.
larger deals you'll have, and yeah, exactly what you said, right? Like a 4 unit, it's the same as like a 16 or 20 unit. So
Hmm.
same amount of work.
Yeah. 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 Cool. Cool. Well, thanks for sharing all that. As this is called Wrestling with Real Estate,
Yeah.
I have to ask some wrestling themed real estate
Okay,
questions.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's fine. Yeah.
So, so let's go ahead and do that if that's okay. You're going to step in the ring with me now. So
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, I don't think I ever wrestle. So,
today's the first thing.
I'm gonna get beginners knock you out, man.
I'll take it easy on you, I promise.
Yeah,
So the
yeah.
first question I like to ask everyone is, what would your wrestling name be?
My wrestling name, um, I think it'd be like White Fang, because my last name is Fang. Yeah.
Okay, White Fang.
Fang, yeah.
I like that. I like that. White Fang. Okay, I can see
Yeah.
that. So White Fang is stepping in the ring.
Yeah.
What in the real estate ring? What is his special move? What is his speciality move? Or what is his superpower? Because all wrestlers have a special move. What is yours in real estate?
Special moves. Well, it's got to be like Fang related. So so it's got to be oh, the double bite.
The double bite.
Yeah.
I would say in real estate, it's being creative, right? I would say that's your biggest strength in having that creativeness
Yeah.
to put deals together that other people can't see.
Yeah. So you gotta get it from multiple angle.
Yeah.
You gotta go in it twice.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
But what's been the biggest body slam you've taken in your real estate career? What's been the biggest thing that's gone wrong for you?
The biggest thing, I think we're not understanding contractors, not being on top of contractors.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like they have more experience at the beginning. I was like, oh, they have more experience, so maybe I kind of relying too much on their experience. But even an experienced contractor, you need to be on top of them, constantly on top of them. You gotta pound them on that.
Yeah, you got to beat them up, right?
Yeah. You gotta know. You gotta tell them. Pound them, beat them up on their schedule. Like, dude, we're on time. You told me. Yeah. Clock's running out, man.
Well, I feel like that's one of the biggest challenges in real estate investing is finding good contractors and getting them to do what they say they're going to do it on time, do the work correctly. It's one of the biggest challenges for me. I know for sure.
Yeah. So like the guy relied on too much, and so we were behind because he also had other projects going on. So once he's delayed on mine, then it snowballs.
Yeah. Cool. So was there a moment that you were White Fang was standing on top of the rope? He's getting ready to jump in the real estate ring, but he was scared. What was it and why?
Let's see. It kind of has to go with the first few deals because those are always the scary ones. I think that first flip, because I did the lease option deal already, and then I was gonna go on the flip, but that flip wasn't for me. I found that deal for my for like a family member, but I signed the contract, so I'm on top of the rope at this point, right? And they were supposed to like put in the funds to fix it. I didn't have money. I put all my money in the lease option deal. the $6,000 that I had, 5,000 and 1,000 rehab. Now I have zero. I'm back to zero. I signed the contract and they were supposed to put in the money to rehab it. We're supposed to be partners. They backed out on the deal. Now I'm on top of the rope. I'm like, shoot, I don't know what to do.
So what did you do? How did you overcome that?
I was like stressed. And then my wife's like, you know what? We'll find investors. So we got on the phone, called friends, relative. We analyzed the deal. So we had the paper and we shared. So that's how I got my investors. We call it like probably like 10 people and 2 investors went in. And so, you know, we just explained everything to them as much as we're able to, and try to answer any questions that they have. So, but that ended up, those 2 investors are still with me. So it ended up to be a good thing.
Yeah, it must have worked out. Yeah. How does that phone call go when you call them up? How you know, you call them up and what do you say? Hey, how you been? You want to put some money in my deal? How does it go? You know, because it's a tricky subject, right? Trying to approach someone to invest with you without trying to seem like you're stealing their money per se.
Yeah, I don't remember some. I think my wife did the first call.
Okay. Smart man. I like the way you.
Yeah. But once she got them, then, you know, I went over the details with them. You know, I'm like, hey, you know, my approach was just like, I'm explaining the deal to them, and then it's up to them. You know, so I just kept practicing explaining the deals. Like, oh, we have a deal now. This is what we're gonna do, and so, you know, this is what we need. These are the profit. You know, that's the, you know, basically the business plan for that project. You know. And I just keep explaining that to them, and then I let them know they're interested. That's it. But my wife do the first call and get them in, you know, like in investor mode for me to talk to them.
Yeah. I like the way you think. I might have to get my wife involved more with me as well. Yeah. She can do that first initial call.
You need a tag partner, you know.
Yeah, I'll tag her in. Yeah. I like that. She can be my tag partner.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Well, thank you, White Fang, for stepping in the ring with me. That was I think that was a good fight, and I think you may have won. So
yes.
And yeah, thank you so much for giving your time up today to be on this call and this interview. Has been a lot of fun. It's been really interesting to hear how you did your first deal and how you used those creative options. You know, you used the lease option, and you then used the 203 FHA 203K loan to make that deal work, and you know, and other options that your favorite deal that you did, and how you use that creative option. You partner up with the seller to get the deal done, and then you brought investors in, and then, you know, you refinanced and got her out the deal. Those are some really cool strategies, and you know, I'm sure you're going to end up doing the same thing once you get into the bigger multifamily. I'm sure I can see you doing a lot of creative stuff there as well. So
that's the plan. So
you'll be buying some 100-unit apartments with zero money down, or getting paid to do it. I can see the future right now.
Yeah, once I get that 100-unit and getting paid to own it, I'll come back.
Yeah, I want to hear that story. I want to partner with you on that deal.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Cool. Before we go, for anyone who wants to find out more about you or get in touch with you, how can they get in touch with you?
The first place is really just Facebook. Tou Phang, TOU, and then FANG, F is a Frank, ANG. So, you know, I'm on there a lot. You know, so just do that. Or on Facebook and YouTube, I have a little like a discussion show about real estate and stuff too. So you could search the Phang Real Estate Show, just FANG, my last name, Real Estate Show. So you could search that on Facebook and YouTube, and just reach out.
Cool. I've subscribed to that show. It's a good show, by the way. I recommend it. I watched the recent one with the guy who bought 19 units. So that was I enjoyed that one.
Oh yeah. 19 units. Yeah, he's good. Hopefully we get to, you know, do some deals with him and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, cool. Well, thank you so much, man. Thanks for stepping in the ring with me, and thanks for coming on Wrestling with Real Estate. I appreciate it.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, Barry. Thanks for having me.
Take it easy too.